I'm going to show you how to remove it, and then I'm also going to show you how to refit it once I get it back. So I've gone out and changed the battery on my partner's 2010 Mini Cooper diesel. It's an R56 Mini, and come to realise pretty much straight away that the windows wouldn't roll down and the switches don't do anything, the windows don't go up and down. Then started checking everything else, the headlights don't work, and also the hazard lights and indicators don't work. So kind of the car is now stuck. We can't drive it anywhere, we can't even drive it for repair at BMW, because obviously we don't have indicators, and you can't close the doors properly because the windows normally come down a little bit to allow you to close the doors, and I've left them open so they're up. So yeah, the whole thing's a bit of a pain. So I've gone online, I've had a look at the Footwell module, and I'm going to take it out to send it off for repair, because apparently because the battery's been disconnected, it loses memory, and when you reconnect it again, there's a problem with that module. So BMW want £175, I think it was, to diagnose it, and then obviously any repairs. However, there's a place on eBay which is £29 plus postage. You send it to them, they send it back, and it should be plug and play. So we're going to see if that's the case. First things first, we need to get some tools. So the two nuts on it, I believe, are M10 or 10mm. So I'm going to get a ratchet with a 10mm socket, and then also I need something to pry the plastic with without damaging it. So these will work. So yeah, some kind of plastic prying tool if you've got it. I've got a few from taking off door cards and stuff. If you haven't got anything like that, an old butter knife would probably work pretty well, because it would be blunt, or kind of something just basically to get behind the panel and to pop the clips off. So even probably a screwdriver would be fine, so I may take one of those out as well. So these are the tools I'm going to use. So let's go out and remove it on this R56 Mini. The car, there's a right hand drive, but you actually have to come down to this side of the car. Firstly, this rubber section, you just need to pull at it with your hand, pull that out, so I'll leave it out of the way. And then this section, the plastic just has some clips behind, so you just carefully put your fingers in the gap and pull it away, as so. There's a clip, I can feel the clip here somewhere, so try and push that without damaging it. So pushing and pulling there, and just again further down, just push it away. Now you can remove this by removing the rear clips the same, just to get better access. However, because I'm lazy, I'm just going to push this to one side and remove the module in here. If any of these clips stay in the metal part, as in here, which they are likely to do, you need to remove them to slot them back onto the plastic. So these are a proper trim tool. However, the same thing like some needle nose pliers would work. You just need to get something either side of the solid bit on it, and carefully, cannot stress this enough, but carefully pry off it. So, like so. So that one pulled out clean, as you can see. And then these, you just have to put back in, just so when you come back to put the panel in, you just push the panel into place, and they simply just slide in and clip in like so. So the first clip, this needs to pull up. However, it won't pull up because there's a push-in part here. So what you need to do is push in the plastic bit. Now you can do this with your finger, but I'm doing it with a screwdriver to make it easy for the video, and just push past it, and that is your first connection out. Now you've got to make sure you don't force this bit, because you could break it. So you need to make sure this little tab is pushed in to allow this section to pass. So I should show you again. Push this bit in, and then that will allow that to pass over as so. So there's one connection there, and there's two connections similar to the rear, but to get to the rear ones, I'm going to remove this nut here. So there's a nut at the top, and there's also a nut at the bottom, and I'm going to do that with this setup, which is a 10mm on a ratchet. Now it's a deep 10mm just to make things easier. To put it on, turn it anti-clockwise, or lefty loosey as they say, and move up. Now as you can see, I don't need to force anything, everything's coming out dead easily, so just make sure you're extra careful with yours as not to break anything. This is what the top one looks like. It's plastic, so again you don't need to force it very much, sorry. And I'm going to do the bottom one. Now the bottom one I've got to make sure I don't lose under the carpet, so It's going to be a bit fiddly with where I put the camera, but we're on it. I'm just getting it to near where it's going to pop off and hold it with my fingers. So put those to one side. I'm going to put those in the cup compartment so I don't lose them. And then hopefully it should pull away a little bit, which it does. And then that gives me access to the rear plugs, which you'll see are exactly the same process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingers. I'm going to push in and push that clip back. That's one. Push in, push that clip back. Two. And that is the BMW Footwell module out and ready to send off. So let's get it in the post.
Three days later.
So it's back, but before we put it in, we've got to clear all the engine codes and the ECU codes. So we're going to put a code reader in, make sure to delete all those, and then we're going to get on with fitting this back in the car. Right, so back in the footwell again. And it's basically the reverse of how it was taken out. So the first plug can go back in and you just push it in and click that. Now you already heard the power windows have already worked. Pop this one in again, clip that down, turn it this way, push it back onto the little studs, and then we can loosely put these nuts on. So I'm just finger tightening them at the moment because my priority is to get the plugs put back in. So put that one on the bottom. So again, it's a bit awkward to get onto. Then we'll put the last one in, last clip. So push in till it won't go no further, and then just slowly push that down like that. You can see the interior lights just come on, and we have got working windows, I believe. So I'm just going to nip up these nuts and make sure everything works before putting this kick panel back on. So we're going clockwise with bolts now. It's obviously the same deep 10mm. Top one's done. Same with the bottom, don't over tighten them. Just tighten them to the point where you can feel it slowly gets tight and then stop. So before pushing this back on, we're just going to make sure everything works. So confirm that the indicators are working, as are the electric windows. Now they go up and down when you open and close the door like they should, and they also roll up and down on the switch. So happy with everything's working, and we just now need to refit this trim panel. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then that is the end of the job. So trim panel's ready to go in. So all you need to do is line up these pins with the holes and basically push it. But before you do that, you just want to make sure this rubber's out of the way. So obviously, because I've had the door closed, I put the rubber back. So you need to peel this back again. And it kind of makes sense to start from the furthest clip back if you can. So once that's located to where it needs to go, it's just simply a case of pushing in place as so. It's worth just giving it a quick tap just to make sure everything's in. So they're all clipped where they need to be. It's just a case of pushing this rubber in. Now you want to make sure that this bit here goes over the metal, and it helps to push kind of with the bend like that. So as you'll see, it's just a case of popping that in and doing that all the way around. give it a final tap, and then you're done. So after doing the foot module, it became evident I needed to reset the window. So you take your key, you push it into the ignition till it clicks, which is that. You press the start button once, which turns the ignition on, and then what you need to do is we're going to reset this left hand side. So you tap the down button on the windows and let it go all the way down till it stops. That's stopped, and then you hold it up for at least 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is that window reset. So when you open the door, you'll hear it drops, and then as I close it, you'll hear it go back up again. And that's perfectly done now, and you can just do the same with the other side.